Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl with Red Heart Yarns. In today's video, I want to show you a brand new type of knitting needle. This is called the Susan Bates Tipping Point knitting needles, and they come in a variety of sizes, ranging from size 4 to 10.5. But the really unique quality of these is that we have 3 different types of tips for the one size of needles. It comes with the blunt pointed tips, regular, and then the sharp pointed tips. Depending on the type of project you're making, you may want to use any of the 3 different types of points. For example, in this particular swatch, I'm using a yarn that has bulky and textured yarn. It's a yarn that changes color or changes texture as you go. Something with loops like this boucle or a lot of extra fiber like this brushed yarn, you're going to want to use a blunt pointed needle, and the reason being is that it won't stab into the yarn, it'll work around the yarn. So it's very simple to work in between the stitches with a blunt point needle, or if you're using a bulkier weight yarn, a blunt point will always work better for that, because the more yarn surface there is to work with, the more blunt you want your tip so that you're sliding in between the stitches and not working into the actual yarn strand itself. Okay, now I want to show you how to use the medium tip of the tipping point needles. I've already switched this needle to the medium tip and have my stitches on the needle, and I want to show you how simple it is to remove one of the other sizes. This is still the bulky size. I'm just twisting it right off. It's already threaded on there. I'm going to twist off the bulky and switch over to the medium point, and you just catch the threading. And once you tighten it, it has a really smooth finish. I feel it's very smooth. So then we're just going to knit into our stitches. The medium tips, in my opinion, would be your everyday tips. This would be the setting that you would keep it on most of the time, and this would work for any of your medium range yarns, your smooth yarns, and if you needed to switch to a bulky or a textured yarn or a thinner yarn, that's when you would switch your tips. So this would be your everyday setting, and then I'll show you how to use the sharper point ones next. So now I'm about ready to change my tips to the sharp point tip, and it made me realize that in the real world, once we've opened up our package and we've used the tips and interchanged them a few times, there's going to come a point when you're looking at them on the table or in your toolbox and you're going to go, oh my gosh, which one is which? And I just want to pick this up and demonstrate to you that if you pick them up and point the tips towards you directly, it's pretty obvious just with the naked eye which one is which. And if you notice, I have bulky on the left, medium in the middle, and sharp on the right. And if you hold them up in front of you on an angle like that where the tips are facing your eyes, it's pretty obvious to pick out which is which. I already have my sharp point put onto the needle with the stitches on it, so I'm just going to change out the medium point on my working needle and join again with the sharp. And again, I just need to point out to you how smooth this join is. It's really unbelievable how smooth that is. And more so with the sharp point than any of the other sets, it's crucial for when working with lace. This sharp point you could use with lace weight yarns, cobweb weight yarns, fingering, DK, any of the thinner weight yarns. This is going to be fantastic. Or any type of a lace stitch pattern. Lace stitch pattern meaning alternating yarn overs and increases with decreases. Let's say you need to do a knit 3 together or a purl 3 together. It's going to be much easier to manipulate those stitches with the sharper point needle. Even when working textured stitch patterns, the sharp point needles are really important. Let's say you're going to be manipulating stitches like doing twisted stitches or working through the back loop only, sometimes or working into stitches in an alternate pattern, or working from further across the needle before the one closest to the edge. Working with sharp point needles will help you to manipulate your stitches a lot better. Please visit redheart.com for more information on the Susan Bates Tipping Point needles.